Okay, so this is number 11 from your paper. I wanted to highlight this one because we do have a greatest common factor here. So we would have 4, 10, and 6. Okay, ignoring the negatives for now. These are all divisible by 2 into an even number, right? So I'm going to factor that out first. So I'd put 2, and then I'm writing what's left. If I take 4x squared divided by 2, I get 2x squared. Negative 10x divided by 2 is going to leave me with negative 5x. And then negative 6, if I take out that multiplication by 2, if I divide by 2, I get negative 3. Okay? This 2 is just going to like hang out front. It is a common factor for all of my terms, so I'm going to leave that out front as part of my factored form. And what I want to do is I want to factor this quadratic where I've got 2 as a, b is negative 5, and c is negative 3. Okay? And I'm going to do your teacher's method as well. Okay, so we're looking for things that multiply to negative 3 and add to make negative 5. Well, because we've got this 2, this specific 2 as our a value, it's not going to work. So we have to do that little trick where we multiply these two together. So you would do 2 times negative 3, which gives us negative 6. Okay, so I'm looking for things that multiply to make negative 6 and add to make negative 5. So remember, this GCF of 2 is just going to drop down. Okay, it didn't change. And then I'm just setting up my empty brackets, my empty parentheses for my factors, right? So x squared comes from x and x, just like in the other problem. And then what multiplies to make negative 6? I could have negative 2 and positive 3. I could have positive 2 and negative 3. I could have negative 1 and positive 6. I could have negative 6 and positive 1. Okay, and I had to list those out separately because if I add negative 2 and 3, that's going to get me positive 1 versus positive 2 and negative 3 are going to get me negative 1. So remember, I'm looking for negative 5x. So the combination that's going to do that is going to be negative 6 and positive 1. Okay, and then we have to go back. All right, so we have to undo that multiplication. So we're going to divide by 2 here. And again, we're dividing by 2 because of this 2. This is separate. So what we do to simplify, okay, that 2, our GCF is going to drop down again. We didn't do anything to that. Then we look, okay, negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. So since that comes out to be a whole number, we're going to put that down. But 1 divided by 2 is really 0.5. So since we've got that as a decimal value, right, that 2 sneaks over here. So I have 2x plus 1. And that is going to be my final factored form.